Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about products I think you should save on versus splurge on. I've basically got a full face here and tons of reasons why I think you should spend your money on certain things and not others. So if you want to go ahead and see this video, then keep on watching. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go through these products basically in the order of how I put them on my face, but a little disclaimer at first, these are just the products that I think are worth it to spend your money on, but definitely these days at the drugstore, you can find dupes to all of these or cheaper alternatives, so by no means do you have to go out and spend money. These are just products that for my skin type, which is oily, and the problems that I have, it just works better to buy more high-end items. So with that said, I'm gonna get started with skincare. The stuff that I use, this is a moisturizer. This is polypeptide cream. I don't know, it's from Drunk Elephant. You definitely don't need a moisturizer that's this expensive, although this one is amazing. I think it's really important to spend money on your skincare, making sure that you're getting the right products for your skin type. And most of the time, things that you would pay more money for just kind of work out better that way. I got that at Sephora. You can even go to a dermatologist and get skincare that works for you. But I've just found that things that I buy at the drugstore don't work nearly as well. And it always makes my makeup just never look as good as I want it to look because it's the base for everything. The next product is going to be primer. Now, I definitely have drugstore primers that I like, but I prefer high-end for sure. My favorites are the Too Faced Cooling Matte Primer and the Tarte Clean Slate Poreless Primer. These are great. I just feel like, again, for your face base, sometimes getting higher end makeup, especially for oily skin, it just works better. I feel like there's a ton of great options at the drugstore for dry skin girls, just not necessarily my skin type, so I like spending money on that. And following on that train is going to be foundation. Definitely the only drugstore foundation that I actually really like is probably the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I haven't tried the LA Girl Pro Matte, even though I really want to. But besides that, I really stick to high-end foundations. I think they look better on my skin. I think they have better finishes. They have better color matches for me. And I go to Sephora all the time to get different samples of kinds to try out, which you can't really do at the drugstore. You can never try anything, and so it's just harder for me to get foundation from there. The next thing is going to be concealer. Now, I think the drugstore has amazing concealers. They're definitely high-end ones that I love, but you can totally get it at like CVS or Walgreens. My favorite ones are from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer and the Instant Age Rewind. These are probably my two favorites. I think Maybelline has the best ones. So after concealer, you gotta make sure to put on translucent powder, and the one that I love is actually from the drugstore. This is the Coty Airspun powder. This thing is great. It smells like an old lady, but it definitely doesn't stick to your, like the smell stick on your skin or anything. It goes away, and this thing's super cheap. You get a ton of product, and it works really, really well. After I put on translucent powder, the next thing is going to be bronzer. There's definitely a lot of great bronzers at the drugstore. I just prefer a high-end one because I am more pale. I don't like things to be too warm, and a lot of times I find that at the drugstore, even though I do love the one that smells like coconut. What is that? The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. That's good, but it's also not, I find it to be not that pigmented, so it's like a lighter look, but the one that I love is from Hourglass. This is the Radiant Bronze Light. This one was expensive. It was, I think it's like $50 or something, but I got it during the VIB sale like a couple years ago. This has lasted me at least a year and a half, and it's going to last me for forever. I mean, you're never gonna go through this. So although you pay a heavy price tag for it, it's gonna last you a really long time. For blush, I think that the drugstore has a ton of great options. A couple of my favorites are from Wet n Wild. This is the Color Icon in Pearlescent Pink. This color is so pretty. It's like a peachy pink color with a little bit of shimmer in it. It's so pretty. And I also love, what is this? The Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. This is like a cult classic. Everybody loves this blush. It's so pretty. You can definitely find great blushes at the drugstore. L'Oreal has great ones. I'm not a huge fan of Maybelline blushes. Those are not my favorite. But who else? Physicians Formula, Burt's Bees has great blushes too. Those are really good. So you can definitely go to the drugstore for those. followed closely by highlighter. Do not go to Sephora for highlighter. Do not go to Nordstrom for highlighter. Go to the drugstore. They are so cheap, so pigmented, beautiful on the skin. I'm trying to think. I think I have like one high-end, no, okay, that's a lie. I have like 2 high-end highlighters and they're really pretty, but nothing beats my Maybelline Master Chrome. I have the Molten Gold shade, which is gorgeous. This is addicting. This is the shade Molten Rose Gold. Oh my gosh, it's the color that I have on my cheeks. I don't know if you can tell. This with some setting spray and you blend it in, it's so pretty. Honestly, buy this at the drugstore. Do not go to Sephora. Another one of my favorites is from Wet n Wild. This is Boozy Brunch. This looks really crazy and kind of like a greeny gold that doesn't look pretty, but once you get it on your skin, it's honestly just the most pretty champagne color. Let's see, I don't know if you can tell like what color that is, but it's so pretty. It definitely doesn't look anything like kind of what you would think it would. This is gorgeous. Okay, one of the last products is something that I'm kind of torn on, definitely leaning more towards high end, and that's going to be eyeshadow palettes. I personally don't own any drugstore eyeshadow palettes besides, that's a lie too, I don't know why I keep lying. I don't own many drugstore eyeshadow palettes, but I definitely think the best ones are from Morphe. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette. You get so many colors in these books that they have. The 25 or the 35 ones, you get 20 or 35 shades for that dollar amount, like $24 or something. And you can always get a discount code. They're honestly really good and really worth it if you want a bunch of eyeshadows, but you don't want to spend money on it. Those are good. Otherwise, I don't really buy eyeshadows from the drugstore, and I mainly do high end. My favorite are Anastasia palettes. I think her eyeshadows are so pretty. I want that soft glam palette so bad, but the Modern Renaissance palette is one of my favorites. The Makeup by Mario palette is great. Even like the individual ones you can buy, also good. I would personally steer more towards high-end eyeshadows, but you can make it work at the drugstore if you need to. It's just harder to blend out, and then sometimes you get one and it just doesn't turn out like you thought it would, and then you're having to sit there and blend on your eyeshadow. It's just more effort, and so sometimes I find when it comes to eyeshadow, it's just easier to go high-end because you can find palettes that you know 100% are gonna look gorgeous. Now for our eyebrow pencils, again, there's options at the drugstore, but I don't think anything is gonna be as good as the Precisely My Brow. This thing is amazing. Or the Anastasia brow pencil is great too. I've only ever had good luck with brow pencils that are high-end. However, at the drugstore, I feel like it's a crapshoot because you can't test it out on your hand. You don't know the thickness of it. You don't know the color. I feel like they're always way too warm or way too light, way too dark. It's just hard whenever you're trying to do something that needs to match the color of your face exactly, like your hair, whatever it is, and you can't test it out, which is really annoying. Unless you have a drugstore that does testers. Sometimes that happens. But even so, brow pencils, I definitely think you gotta go high end. However, on the other side of that, something I hate to spend money on is brow gel. I think it's so annoying just to get your eyebrows to stick up straight to pay like $20 or something for a brow gel. No, I think that's so annoying. So I use this NYX Control Freak brow gel. I will say I don't have very unruly brows. They're pretty thick, so whenever I want them to stay up, they're pretty good about that. This does work though. Like, I love this thing. It's a clear brow gel. I know that there's also some like other colored ones at the drugstore, which I kind of steer away from that kind of product in general. I hate spending money on brow gel. This is like $6 and totally worth it. Okay, nearing the end here. I feel like I talk about this in every video. My favorite setting spray is the Milani Make It Last. This is about to be empty. I think this is like my 3rd bottle or something. I love this stuff. I think it makes your makeup look beautiful. It goes on beautifully. Get this setting spray from the drugstore. You literally won't need anything else. I also think the NYX mattifying setting spray is really good too. I haven't tried any dewy ones, but I'm sure you could. Technically, I think if you have dry skin, you could definitely use this one. I know Kathleen Lights does, and she really likes it. And last but not least, we have lip products. Lip products are definitely something that you can get from the drugstore. My favorite actual lipsticks, I love the Milani ones, but this is from Maybelline, and these are the matte lipsticks. This is in Nude Embrace. This is one of my favorite shades. It's used a ton. These are really, really good. My favorite lip gloss is from Soap and Glory. I have misplaced it, so I cannot show it to you, but it's the Sexy Mother Plucker. I love those. They're a little tingly, but it's just the prettiest gloss. You can definitely find good ones at Sephora, and I definitely have high-end glosses that I love. When it comes to something like that, I just feel like there's a total selection at the drugstore that you can get that are beautiful, and so it's maybe not worth it to spend your money on. Okay, so that is everything. That's basically a full face of what I would use for drugstore versus high-end. Also, keep in mind, there are definitely good products of both high-end and drugstore of all of these different things, and you could kind of go either way. This is just personally for my skin type and what I like, the products that I would choose. So if you like this video and want to see more like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. It would mean a lot. I would appreciate it. And next time I will be coming back to you with some makeup tutorials. I know I've been kind of chatting about products and stuff lately, but I'm definitely going to get into some spring tutorials, wedding guest makeup tutorials. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you watching. Thanks, guys.